Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. Ladies and gents, it's the moment you've been waiting for. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz. How charming, how delightful, how minimalistic. Very good.
That's my zen that I'm bringing into 2021. It's just that minimalistic. It has nothing to do that I was not prepared for this whatsoever, because we thought it was your week, not my week. So for intros, so
you're a professional through and through. You improv'd that. You say you can't improv intros, but here you are, nailing it.
There we go. I mean, to be fair, it is really on point for what we are doing this week. It wasn't a difficult thing. Just because it was the opening line of one of the movies that we're doing, and people are sitting there, they're wondering, what could it possibly be? I wonder.
Could it be?
Could it be? Do you want to give it to the people just so they feel that pressure of not knowing leave their chest?
Because they didn't read the title of the episode before they clicked on it. They didn't. They don't follow us on Twitter like fools.
Yeah, exactly. They come in blind to every episode. That's what I hope for in our listeners. It would be great.
Innocence.
Yeah, chaotic.
Yeah. Guys, we are doing musicals this week, some of our favorite kinds of movies. Poor Chad got subjected to two musicals that I've wanted to talk to for a very long time, and he's been a champ. Talk about for a very long time. He's been a champ. I have been unprofessional as ever.
I disagree with that. I think this is very much like they said in the trailer for Scream 3. The third one, the trilogy, is always all bets are off. And this is technically our trilogy. We're going into the third year of the podcast. I know, exactly. This is our trilogy now. This is the triple threat. And so all bets are off. I mean, the week after next, I have something that, again, completely flouts the rules of this podcast. It is something we spoke about on the Discord, so you're probably very aware of it, even though we haven't discussed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck it. 2021, the trilogy. Fuck everything. If we were just wanted to start doing good movies this year, why the fuck not?
I honestly, we have such lovely listeners. They'd be like, if that's what you need to do, you guys just go ahead and do it, because everybody's so nice.
It's true. I think our listeners are more into our food opinions than they are about our movie opinions at this point, though, which I love in itself.
It's just what wonderful people that listen to us week on week and just accept us.
You guys are the best. We couldn't be more thankful for you people. We really appreciate you. But as Simone was saying, it is musical week this week. So we will be doing The Greatest Showman, which I personally need a lot of convincing about, even though the music does make me cry. Yeah, and then 9, which I feel like came out of nowhere, but I loved it. I've never heard of it before we did it for this, and I really like it.
I have a lot of strong feelings about 9, so this is going to be like a fun episode. This is going to be a little bit of a head-to-head. All bets are off, Chad.
I'm really excited. So you're just gonna, very much like in a dance, you're just gonna take the lead, bring us through Greatest Showman, bring us through 9. I'm gonna sit there amazed, bewildered at your incredible brilliance, at everything you do when it comes to movies, and your incredible opinions that far outweigh mine.
Oh,
I'm very
please.
ready for it. I'm ready for it. So let's see who goes first. What are you drinking?
So we're still under.
Drinking.
I mean, so I think it has like maybe 2% alcohol in it. I'm drinking a rock shandy.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, but it's homemade. I made the lemonade myself.
Oh, lovely.
That's sort of what I've been using to replace wine and beer and stuff. Is I made like a really good lemonade, and then I dilute it with some soda water because I don't like stuff that's too sweet. And I've started adding bitters to it, and it's delightful. I'll never go back to store-bought lemonade ever again.
Damn, this is the darkest timeline. You're just adding bitters to things? What is this? Who's this dark
I was like, a rock shandy is lemonade and bitters, so I've got the lemonade.
And now I've got the bitters. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I am drinking a Malibu canned pina colada. I'm back to these bad boys because I'm the oldest white woman.
I love that You always drink like the most white girl drinks on this show. It is one of my favorite things about you.
I think I was really, honestly, if I didn't love women so much as I do, I genuinely think I was born into the wrong body. Because I love being a basic white bitch. Like, it is the most fun. If I could wear Uggs and yoga pants all the time, would. That's so comfortable.
I don't think you should. Don't let it stop you. You know what? It's 2021. Fuck gender norms. The world is falling apart. Fascists stormed the White House. You can wear yoga pants and Uggs.
Let that be the message carried through to everyone all over the world.
Yeah.
The
You're not
world is
hurting
burning
anyone.
down. Yeah, I mean, where am I going to go? We're in a lockdown. I could just wear yoga pants and Uggs in my house. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's look, like I've said before when I've drunk this before, it deserves to be frozen, but I just didn't have time today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes in at a delightful, responsible 5%, which somehow will beat yours. I don't understand how that's possible, but here we go.
There's a first for everything. I must say, since the lockdown started, I have been so hydrated, Chad. I mean, look at my skin. I have makeup
You
on
look
today,
incredible.
but like, I am glowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because you have that access to water right there, right? It's just because it's convenient more than anything, but it's good. That's another message. There you go. So we got 2 messages so far in the opening bit of this podcast, which is the world is burning down, wear Uggs and yoga pants, and also stay hydrated, you beautiful bitches.
Stay hydrated, guys. Yeah.
2.5 liters. That's usually the recommended amount, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your level of activity, the water that's in your food, like, you know, whatever feels right and good to you. I probably drink way more than that because I'm thirsty constantly. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's our attitude towards life. Never satisfied, always hungry. That's how we live our lives. That Rob Bailey lyric.
Yeah, and now instead of occasionally sipping wine whenever I feel like sipping something, it's all water and lemonade, very diluted lemonade all the time. So hydrated. God, I miss drinking.
Soon, Simone. I believe in Cyril. I believe in the ability for him to let you drink again. I'm hoping
we are not doing well, so I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at anyone.
You just wish you had a bit of a warning.
You know, I'm doing fine actually. I just you know, I do miss a little cheeky glass of wine on a Friday or when we're recording.
Yeah, it can't be easy. I can imagine. Yeah, but we'll be fine. We'll get through it.
I'm fine.
Like everything. Yeah. Wear Uggs and yoga pants and we'll be fine. All right, here we go. Okay, 2009. Here we go. Guido Contini, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, which shocked the shit out of me. I did not realize it was him.
Yes.
Is an incredibly famous Italian director. It is now time for him to make his newest film, Italia. The one problem is he hasn't even started writing the script yet. This is made worse by the fact that the press keep hounding him to reveal what the movie is about, and the fact that his last 2 movies were complete flops. Throughout the movie, we get little glimpses into Contini's life. For example, we learn the history behind his beautiful wife, Luisa Contini, played by Marion Cotillard. They met on one of his earlier films, and they fell for each other hard. Unfortunately, ever since that film, Luisa hasn't really done much acting, and to make things worse, Guido is a philanderer, often sleeping with the other actresses in his movies. This causes a lot of tension between Luisa and Guido. Guido leaves Rome, desperately trying to get away from all the stress and all the press. He also invites his mistress, Carla, played by Penelope Cruz, to come and join him. During this time, Guido also seeks guidance from his old friend and constant wardrobe department head, Lily, played by Dame Judi Dench, as well as his dead mother, played by Sophia Loren. He continues to struggle and simply cannot come up with a script. He seeks further help from a doctor and a priest, all to no avail. Things turn from bad to worse when all of the women in his life start to leave him. His favorite leading actress and supposed to be star of Italia, Claudia, played by Nicole Kidman, comes to visit him, tells him she loves him, but then leaves him because there is no way he could ever love her. Carla also leaves him after realizing that he's a no-good scoundrel. Luisa basically dumps him too after realizing how much of a fake he is. After all of this, he decides to call off the movie. People are pissed off, but there is no script, so there can be no movie. 2 years later, he meets up with Lily again, and she basically convinces him to get back into making films. He says the only thing that he can write about now is redemption and trying to win Luisa back. Lily tells him to write that story. he does, and everything is right with the world. Sort of. The end.
What's your cliffhanger, Chad?
So it has to be this one, which is that beautiful line. I can't remember if it was Nicole Kidman or Marion Cotillard who said it, but that she calls him something. It's like a glutton or something, and he just keeps consuming and not giving. Yeah, an appetite. That's what he does. He calls her an appetite.
That was Marion
Who said
Cotillard.
it? Was it? Okay, fantastic, because I'll need to find that. And I love that line. Like, there are so few great lines in this movie. It's very chaotic, but that is one of the great lines of this movie, and I was just like, yes, amazing.
I have to say, she killed it. Like, to me,
beautiful.
She saved this movie for me, to be honest. Like, she was easily the best character. Her performance was impeccable the whole way through. I love her so much.
Oh, she's brilliant. She's such a she gives me like Audrey Hepburn vibes, but also just like this level of dark sophistication that you can't get enough of. She's
Imagine
just
being
perfect.
married to her and then cheating on her like a big dum-dum.
Like, why? How do you think you could do better? Like, that is, oh no, come on, Guido, you're a fool. You're a fool, Guido. There's a reason why the insult is the name Guido. It's very similar to Chad's, but for Italians. And it makes sense. It makes sense. So what's your favorite song of this movie? I want to get that over with first.
Okay, it's two different things, because I think the best dance number in this movie by far is Be Italian.
Right, okay.
I think we can all agree. First of all, that Fergie fucking kills it singing that song.
Nails it.
She
nails it.
Belts like a pro. It's excellent. And then my favorite song is the one at the end that Marion Cotillard sings at him.
Oh, right.
Not sure what it's
when
called.
She's breaking up with him.
Yeah, when she's like breaking up with him. Beautiful. She sings it with so much emotion. She's so angry. I get goosebumps every time I watch that.
It's fantastic. Yeah. See, for me, I didn't separate the dancing from the singing, but I gotta say my favorite song is definitely Be Italian. What a powerhouse song.
What a banger.
Oh, it hits so hard. The use of the sand, everything about it. Perfect. Bellissimo. Beautiful. I mean, I think we should also mention Kate Hudson was in this movie.
Yes.
And bless her
2
stars
weeks of
and
Kate
stripes.
Hudson in a row.
Yeah, she's now a prominent return to the
I didn't know
podcast.
she could sing though, and she did a very good job.
Yeah, her song was really fun. It felt really forced in, but like she did a really good job, and the dancing was excellent, and her character was fun, and it was like a nice little fun number to lighten up, because like
it's very
inherently
catchy.
the story is very dark. It's very, very catchy.
It's been stuck in my head all day, and it's not great. Like, it's not a great song, but it's just
Yeah. So like, talk to me, like, what is your overall feelings for this movie? Because you said you have a lot of feelings, and I'm ready to listen.
So I think going into this, the issue with both of the musicals we're covering today is the main character. I think we can both agree. Guido is awful. He's pretty useless. He's just like, you're supposed to feel sorry for him because he's like this tortured artist who just wants it all. And then he keeps fucking up because he's flawed. But people keep giving him chance after chance, and you're still supposed to feel sorry for him. And like, I don't know. I think this movie also suffered from like its direction a little bit, because he says like in the movie the movie he's thinking of writing is like, it's kind of meta because the movie he's thinking of writing is clearly 9.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says, the movie's going to be about the women of Italy, or like the spirit of Italy, and like how much work they do to make Italy what it is, but then men reduce them to these stereotypes and stuff, and he does exactly that. But the movie isn't self-aware about it.
No, not at all. It just tries to make it an excuse for itself in that respect.
So there are all these like really beautiful women around Guido, and like some of them are having these very serious scenes where they're like their own independent people with their own stories. And then the musical numbers are very like stylized, and in all of the musical numbers, they're like obsessed with Guido, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think like Kate Hudson's number is pretty good because she's an American journalist covering Italian cinema. And when she's talking to him in the bar, it's sort of directed to look like she is flirting with him, and she's talking about how much she loves Italian cinema, but like if you look at like what she actually says, you could read it as her just being very cynical and very aware of who her audience is, right? She's like, this is what
Mhm.
American women want. They want to feel like they live in an Italian movie, and as a reporter, it's her job to
Mhm.
help women feel like that with
Feel that way.
style or
Yeah.
whatever. But like in Guido's mind, obviously he's like, oh my God, she's obsessed with me
She's in love with
as a
me.
director.
Yeah.
And that's what the song is. But there's no like self-awareness of that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same with all of them. Like Nicole Kidman is too in love with Guido to work with him anymore, as opposed to
Yeah.
like, I'm sick of like all your self-indulgent shit
Yeah.
playing the same
Yeah.
5 characters over and over again, and like just generally working with you.
Mhm.
And even like Fergie's character is very upsetting because clearly she's a sex worker, right? Like she's clearly
Yes.
like
Very much
living on the
so.
beach as a sex worker, and like it's supposed to be this like cute scene where all of these
Yeah.
like young 7-year-old boys
Yeah,
have like
really
gathered
weird.
enough money to pay her to dance for them.
Yeah,
So she's doing
really
like a little
strange.
dance for these boys. I mean, she doesn't show anything. She's
No,
just doing like a
no.
little wiggle,
Little shimmy,
but
little
it's still
yeah.
like a little
gross.
gross.
It's gross.
And then in his mind, obviously, like the performance, again, the choreography, stunning. The song, great.
Mhm.
Fergie's performance, flawless. But like
Yeah.
in his head, it's this very sexual awakening for him when
Yeah.
she's like
Where he's
instructing
7.
him in how to please a woman. And meanwhile, she's like this poor disenfranchised sex worker living on a beach being
Mhm.
hounded by these dumb, horny 7-year-olds.
Yeah, 7-year-old. I just
Yeah.
like I want to make that really clear to all of our listeners. They were 7 years old.
It's a
That
very
is
uncomfortable
insane.
scene, actually.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. But in a way, I would love Fergie's life. Just living on the beach, getting paid to have sex. What a dream, right? Except for the hounding of the 7-year-old boys kind of thing. Yeah, you know, and
the
all
general-
obviously all the general sort of patriarchal nonsense with it. If we're talking in a perfect socialist
Yeah.
world that we envisage for our future and for our children one day, then I want to be Fergie's character, living
Yeah.
on the beach, getting paid. Perfect. Yes.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely. Everything in this movie is seen through the prism of Guido, and he's such a shit that it's impossible to root for him.
Yeah.
Even like it was really funny. There's that song where with his mum, and
Oh my
the mum's
God.
just like that song is really creepy because the mum it explains Guido so much from a psychological point of view, because it's like, oh, so your mum told you you're the most special person in the in the world, and
exactly.
that there is no other woman who could love you as much as me. That is why you are a creep. Understood now. Doesn't forgive you, but now we at least have a psychological reason for why you're an
And, like,
absolute mess.
His mistress attempts suicide. Trigger warning. His mistress attempts suicide, and it's about him. Like it's all about how this
Yes,
has really
he makes it about
deeply
him. Oh.
affected himself. So you just watch the whole movie like wanting to see more from the side characters, and honestly you're
Mhm.
like, Guido, give me one good reason to root for you, because I've got nothing, dude. You're such an asshole. And in the end, the only person you really root for is like whatever watered down version he as the narrator allows you to see of his wife.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I hope she never gets back together with him.
It would be a mistake. Like, I mean, it's implied at the end, but I really hope. I feel like she is way too clever to fall for that bullshit
Oh,
again.
yeah.
She was already so tired of his shit, like
Yeah.
when she left, when Carla showed up at the dinner.
No.
But I really love as well, like the fact that it's just like, I think Dame Judi Dench says it at one point, and he himself, I think, says it, that he's never grown up, and that's why he can make such great movies, because he's still got the childlike wonder, which is wanky, but it's really nice that he admits that he is a child and is not an adult, and so he cannot behave like an adult. So yeah, really mixed messages, because I really loved the music. If it was just like the soundtrack, I could very much get on board. But it's very hard to root for a protagonist like this.
Yeah, that's why I wish that the direction had been a little bit more self-aware, like had shown that like the visions we're seeing are like purely from Guido's perspective and not like reflective of like the actual situation or like the actual character. Like that just wasn't done, so it just ends up being like really a really sleazy look into an awful person's mind, and you're like, Thanks.
Yeah, this is all great.
Yeah.
I think that should be the synopsis. See see the 9 women that this over 50-year-old man has sexual feelings and relationships with. I don't think it would have done even half as well as it already had, and it didn't do well. What do you know of the original musical? Have you seen any stage productions of it? Any sort of video copies of it?
I'm afraid not. So I
I
can't
mean,
compare.
No, I think that is something that we should try and find and research and do, because I think it would be nice to see the difference, if there is any difference between this and that. Because I mean, it had very Chicago-y vibes.
It's the same director.
How each Oh, there you go.
Same
Okay,
producer.
that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
I
a lot
had
of sense
high
then.
hopes for this because it was the same director as Chicago and Memoirs of a Geisha. Both movies I love.
Cool.
Like I love both of those movies. And yeah, I mean, look, the movie is very visually stunning.
Oh yeah, without a question.
I mean, the Italian countryside, the fashion, the outfits, the musical numbers. He does a very good job at transitioning between like real life and then the music, like musical stuff happening in Guido's head. I think that was really well done. I mean, I think the movie is worth checking out, but like you just have to understand that like the narrator is very flawed and you just have to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. Come for the music, don't stay for the message or the show or the plot.
Better yet, go on YouTube, look up the different musical numbers and just watch those.
Yeah, you would save yourself 2 hours because this movie is 2 hours.
Look up every single scene Marion Cotillard is in. Just do yourself a favor.
Oof. Better yet, just watch every movie with Marion Cotillard in because she is so perfect. So, do you have a scene that could have saved this? Because I thought it was really difficult to, especially with musicals. I found it very difficult.
No, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm just gonna go generally with. I would have liked to see a little bit more self-awareness from the movie. There's nothing wrong with having a flawed main character or a flawed narrator, but like, you're not showing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. I think for me, I would have changed the movie a little bit, and instead of him being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Italia was not going ahead," instead he makes Italia. It's a complete flop because it's just a mess, and he literally has to start from the bottom again. Like he's directing, university plays and musicals, and he has to like build his character back up and really break down that childness and that egotistical nonsense and start all over again.
Yeah.
That would have been a better redemption story for me.
Yeah, that's true. I would have liked to see a bit more self-reflection from the character because all we get is like this time jump after he's lost his wife. And we don't really know he's learned anything. We just know he misses his wife.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which, well done, dude. You miss Marion Cotillard. So do I. Like
Don't we all? And it's not a fucking epiphany if you've realized you fucked up by cheating on her. That's ridiculous. Yeah. It did break my heart, that scene where he's like, they're doing the visuals for the actresses and he says that thing to the other actress. I was like, no, don't do it. You fool. Because you can see it coming.
Oh, and he doesn't even know what he's done. He doesn't even, that was fantastic.
Dick. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So would you watch this again?
I would definitely, like I said, I would look up the Be Italian again and again. I think I had it like on my iPod for a while.
Great song to run to, actually.
Honestly, it's a banger. Perfect. It gets faster and faster. And then I think I would just skip through to Marion's scenes. Fuck it, I'll watch Kate Hudson's dance number because it's so catchy. And yeah, I can really do without the rest. Maybe Penelope Cruz. I think her number was very sexy. She did a good job.
Yeah, it was really sexy, and she's such a sad character in this because she's just like, she's so hopeful, and I guess it's the plight of everyone's sort of fling and side to use the horrible phrase side chick. It's the hope that one day they'll realize that you're the one they should be with, but it never happens, and it's really sad, and she pulls that off so well. Yeah. Everything except Guido, basically. Is what
pretty much.
I want to see the musical, the actual stage production of this
I'd like to check it
before I
out,
watch the
too.
movie again.
Because I
Yeah.
saw a review saying that some of the better songs had actually been omitted.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, it was
that's
obviously the
interesting.
reviewer's opinion that those songs were
Yes, of
better,
course.
but like, I want to know what songs I missed out on.
Oh, damn straight. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I think it's about the musical numbers for this one.
Mm.
So if you want to listen to some bangers, you don't really need context, and you'll be fine. Go onto YouTube's great place for that. Yeah. Right, Simone. Whoa. Let's
This is the
greatest
greatest
showman.
show.
This is the greatest show. Questionable.
Okay. God. P.T. Barnum, played by Hugh Jackman, has come from humble beginnings and is determined to work himself up in the echelons of British society so that he feels that he deserves his wife, Charity, played by Michelle Williams. She loves him unconditionally and just wants to be with him, but he wants to give her the life that she deserves. So he tries several schemes to try and get rich and eventually realizes that there's money to be made working with the so-called freaks of society, including a man with dwarfism, a bearded lady, Siamese twins, and Black people, apparently.
I mean, what can you say, really?
I didn't write this.
No, I know, but what can you really
You know?
say about, like, humans are awful. We fucking know this.
And P.T.
Like-
Barnum, let's just get through
we'll,
this
we'll
first.
get into it.
Yeah. So he starts a circus. And initially, people are very wary about it, but they soon embrace P.T. Barnum and all of his so-called freaks, but he still feels like he's not really being accepted by higher society, and that's all he really wants. So he meets up with Philip Carlyle, played by Zac Efron, and asks him to help him be more integrated with society. Philip Carlyle he's this rich playboy. He's like, yeah, sure, fine. This sounds really fun. While he's helping out P.T. Barnum, he falls in love with Anne Wheeler, played by Zendaya. But the two of them have kind of a forbidden love thing going on because she's Black.
Yeah.
And he's rich. In an effort to be taken more legitimately, P.T. Barnum finds Jenny Lind, a opera singer played by Rebecca Ferguson. He decides that he's going to take Jenny and her incredible talent on tour around the world, make a bunch of money out of it, and be seen as more classy by the rest of society. While on tour, Jenny Lind inevitably falls in love with P.T. Barnum, and when he rejects her, she calls off the whole thing. He has lost a bunch of money. At the same time, hateful people burn down his whole circus. His wife is mad at him because she thinks he kissed Jenny. And everything seems lost. And then he's like, no, I realized I was focusing on the wrong things. I had to focus on my family and on the people who love me. So he makes up with his wife. Philip Carlyle had saved up a bunch of money, so he's able to save the circus. Philip and Anne end up together, and everybody's happy. The end.
Hey. So what's your scene? What's your cliffhanger? Every time.
My cliffhanger is oh god. Okay, it's you know what? Fuck it. It's gonna be this one, which is the one where P.T. Barnum is talking to Charity's dad, and he's like, "One day, like, I'm gonna give your daughter everything." Like, yeah, that's the one.
Great.
Just. I mean, I guess that was like his motivation throughout the movie, and I'm not convinced it ever stopped being his motivation at the end of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah.
Again, this movie works if you pay no attention to the main character.
Yes, thank you. That is what because when you came to me and you said, let's do Greatest Showman, I was boggled. My mind was completely boggled why you like this movie, because for me, PT, like, it was just the fact that it was P.T. Barnum and the fact they try to make this guy look like this angel, and he's the fucking worst.
Okay, I don't know why they had to make this movie about P.T. Barnum, because first of all, it's not even accurate to very much at all. Like nothing. No. They could have just said it was like P.T. Barnum inspired and named the character something totally different, like, after someone who didn't own a slave.
Yeah, exactly.
For
and wasn't
example.
just like this like constant liar who redid his autobiography 8 times and embellished everything over and over again.
It was responsible for the deaths of many animals and was actually very cruel to the people in his circus.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, absolutely. Hugh Jackman could. I think this movie would have been more convincing if it was just Hugh Jackman playing Hugh Jackman,
Yeah,
because he is the
honestly,
nicest human being on the planet.
And let him keep his Australian accent. Fuck it.
Oh, why not? Why not? Why do we have to go P.T. Barnum? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if it was made by what's his name? Who's the director? Martin Scorsese. Because
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese's movies are always about heroizing bad people. That's what he has made his money on. But it wasn't made by Martin Scorsese.
Sad, bad white men.
Yeah, exactly. And this is perfect for him. I can imagine Martin saw this and it was like, damn it, why didn't I get the rights to this? Shit, P.T. Barnum.
I think his story
right,
is public domain now, so
who knows? He might be able to come up with like a more accurate,
if he could make money on it from beyond the grave, P.T. Barnum would.
Oh, that's also true.
I'm pretty sure he is
100%.
somehow.
Oh yeah. The estate of P.T. Barnum will definitely have gotten something for this, I'm sure.
Ugh.
Ugh. But okay, so like you said, let's ignore it.
Let's ignore it. Let's ignore that the main character doesn't actually learn very much. Let's ignore
P.T. Barnum who?
Who's P.T. Barnum?
I don't know.
Not the guy in this
who's that
movie.
guy? No. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, the Greatest Showman.
He's charming. He's got his nice smile and his nice voice.
Yeah.
So I find this movie very enjoyable. The musical numbers are beautiful. The choreography is beautiful. If you don't cry once listening to the soundtrack, like, I'm sorry. Dead inside. Yeah. A Million Dreams, cry. This Is Me,
I was so
cry.
annoyed. So annoyed. Like, I was ready to just be really critical of this movie, and I started watching it, and immediately, as soon as his daughter started singing every night, and I was just like, no, cool, thank you.
There it is. Tears.
10 minutes in.
Tears.
How dare you?
Yeah.
You
So,
can't not.
like, it's really nice. It's really visually beautiful. It's a circus, right? Like, it's all the pink and stuff. Zac Efron is very handsome and a very good singer. Zendaya is beautiful. She's got big candy floss pink hair in some of the scenes. It's really nice. You just can't think about it too much. You can't.
It's like it's like a dentist's aquarium. Just look at it. Don't think about the circumstances that you're in.
No.
Just look at the pretty colors, look at the pretty moving objects, and everything will be fine.
Don't ask questions.
Dentists.
Don't think about it. And then it's great. It's so fun. I went through a stage, I think after I watched it the first time, I think I watched it like 4 more times and like over the next several months. So I actually didn't watch it before this episode because I've seen it way too many times.
Beautiful. That plot synopsis was on point then.
Thank you. I have made everybody in my life watch it.
Oh wow. That's I feel sorry for the people in your life. I really
Everybody loved it, so I don't feel bad at all. You just can't think about it. You have to, it's a circus. Just let yourself get distracted by the spectacle. Don't think about the fact that P.T. Barnum at the end, when it's like supposed to be his whole epiphany and he's like, oh, I was focusing on the wrong thing, and all of his circus people are like, yes, we've loved you all along. He's like, my family, and then he fucks off and leaves them. Like, don't think about it.
I didn't even think about that until now, but you're so right. It's so right. They're like, oh, we forgive you, P.T. Barnum. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna fuck off with them. Enjoy Zac Efron. That's
I'm gonna
fine.
chase this fucking train.
What an asshole. Oh my god. Exceptional.
He barely apologizes to them, and I think he only does it because he realizes that they're still his main source of profit.
That's the only reason he comes back, and then he realizes he can just make a profit without having to do anything. So he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm out.
Zac Efron, you take over the circus.
So what's your favorite song for this one?
I struggle because I love all of them, but honestly, the one that like makes me smile ear to ear every time is actually The Other Side. That's the one with Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman bargaining over their deal. And it's just like this really cute little choreography with the bartender in the background, like mixing the drinks and like passing stuff out. Like that was really well done and really subtle and just like lovely. Like they're bantering back and forth. It's real cute. I love it every single time, and it doesn't make me cry, which is a nice change.
Yeah, it's the 5-minute respite from the rest of the movie. But I completely agree with you. This is why we're so in sync. This is why we've been doing
Yeah.
this podcast and entered the trilogy. It's because that is also my favorite song. It's just so edgy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's just so edgy, like nah, 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 nah. Like that beat is
Yeah.
just on point. Like you said, the bartender's perfect. Like that scene where like eventually he's just like really thinking about the offer and it's like 15 and he's like holds the bartender and,
Yeah.
and Zac Efron pulls out the money and pays him and
Yeah.
fucking beautiful scene. Perfect choreography. Love Zac Efron. I'm so happy that despite the
him.
fact that he couldn't sing in the first High School Musical, they were just like, you know what, you're gonna go first, so we'll have you. We'll do you
Yeah.
anyway. That's fine. And look at him go. Beautiful.
Now, I have been nothing but thrilled to see Zac Efron's career grow. Like, just from strength to
Absolutely.
strength. He seems like a lovely, lovely guy who has made the most of an opportunity that he was given. He works really hard. He sings very well. His little romance with Zendaya was very cute. And obviously, Zendaya
Yes.
killed it. She's so beautiful
so
and so
good.
talented, and I hate her. But I also want her to be my best friend.
One day we'll get her on this podcast and then you can woo her and it'll be
Stop,
perfect.
don't tease me.
So is there, okay, so we're just going to broadly say, forget all the bad stuff. So we've forgotten everything. We like the pretty colors. Within the pretty colors, is there anything that we didn't like in the pretty colors?
Is there anything? Honestly, I thought the whole Jenny Lind thing was pretty useless, to be honest. Like, I understand
Why? What a
they had
pointless thing, right?
it's not even Rebecca Ferguson singing. It's like some other
Really?
random, yeah, it's some other random singer. Like, and
Unbelievable.
it's not even like a pop star singing or whatever. It's like a random voice actress lady who is a good singer singing the song, and just Rebecca Ferguson lip syncing. So that was stupid and
That
pointless.
feels
She's
icky.
also
Yeah.
obviously not singing opera. I didn't think that they were going to put opera in like
A Disney
popular
kids movie?
musical.
Mm-hmm.
But like the whole thing is just so bizarre. Like, he meets her and she's like nice to him. She's like, "Ah, I get it. I was poor once too." And he's like, "Her."
Yeah.
And then like they have the first concert night, and like before the concert he's like, "Oh, I hope she can sing." And it's like, you didn't go to any rehearsals. You
Didn't say like, just do a couple bars for me.
Yeah, just
while
hum
we're
a
just standing
few,
here.
you know? None of that. You just like did this
No.
whole thing for no reason. And then he's like, "Oh my God, she can sing." And they're on tour and he's like shocked that she's like, "Hey, are we doing this?" Because like, I feel like you've been sending some signals, which you actually really had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he's like, "Oh my God, how dare you? I'm married." And she's like, "Okay, well,
Oh, wow.
this is a waste of my fucking time. Bye." And he's like, "How? What?" And then
Everything is so confusing.
and his wife's like, "What the fuck?" And then she forgives him pretty much immediately. And that's it. That's that whole arc.
Yeah, it's really pointless. That whole bit where he's trying to be in like high society does feel really forced in. I mean, that whole conversation he's having at the after the first time Jenny Lynn sings, and she like he has that fight with the dad and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I get where you're coming from. I know why you're doing this. I just
Yeah.
don't care. I really don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand
But
that
still
was like
very pretty.
part
Very
of the
pretty.
arc. Jenny's outfits throughout that whole arc,
Exceptional.
fantastic. Rebecca Ferguson is a beauty. Whoever was singing for her also did a great job.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah. So overall, pretty things. Just keep the pretty things in mind.
Don't
Pretty things.
think about it.
Say scene that could have saved it.
I mean, I would have actually liked to see more Michelle Williams, just because I love her so much.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, more
She was
of all
really
the
fun. Her
side
song.
characters. Her song was so pretty.
Yeah, it was really lovely. Swinging on a tightrope is just sweet.
I think actually most of the side characters I would have liked to see more singing from Zac Efron, more from Zendaya, more from, oh my God, who is the actress that plays the lovely bearded lady who belts This Is Me? Keala Settle.
Her song was on point, and it would be nice to see more of her.
The emotion on her face and in her voice, like, I just want to cry every single time. She just like, she is a treasure. She's so talented. I wanted her to sing most of the soundtrack, to be honest. Why couldn't the movie be about her and her journey?
Yeah, that would have been nice, actually,
Yeah.
strangely enough.
Or just more
Yeah.
people in the circus in general, because a lot of the circus folks seemed very interesting, but you hear from maybe 3 of them? 4?
Exactly. And yeah, that whole scene where like they forgive him from I think the song's called From Now On. And like that whole scene with their dancing is on point. And I want to know
So
more
beautiful.
about like the tattooed man and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It would have been very cool. Yeah. Even if like you have, and I'm going back to this well yet again, a Chicago-like number where they all just individually tell their stories, like Pop Six,
Smoking.
Squat. Yeah. Behind bars, just like doing their thing. He had it coming. From like the bearded lady.
I had a
great.
beard, and I don't know why they're French now too, but
On point, yeah. So would you watch it again? Yeah, obviously.
probably, yeah. Look, when I first signed up for Spotify, you know, you like a couple of artists and stuff, and Spotify, I assume, just scrapes all your data from everything that you've ever done.
Yeah, of
and
course.
one of the first songs that came recommended for me was Relight the Stars or Rewrite the Stars.
Rewrite the Stars.
And I was like,
Fantastic.
they have me pegged.
There's a reason that the algorithms are so on it and why you're addicted to your phone.
Honestly eerie.
Yeah.
Spotify continues to amaze and terrify me. But they really have found some bangers that I like, so I guess it's all worth it.
Yeah, that feels a bit icky, and we all know that it is a bit icky, but it is also just really nice to have things recommended to you that you know you're gonna like.
Yeah, and they really do kill it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
for me, I don't know. I'm in a quandary with films like this because I've said to myself, I'm going to try my absolute hardest to stop giving money to people who heroize bad white people. Yeah. So like Martin Scorsese movies are done for me, unfortunately, because I love Goodfellas, great film, but like I can't give this man any more of my money. It's not right. And so while I would love to watch The Pretty Colors some more, I also don't want to heroize P.T. Barnum, and I wouldn't want to make anyone else heroize P.T. Barnum.
Look, I mean, with that, I don't think a lot of people are watching The Greatest Showman and thinking it's an accurate representation of P.T. Barnum's life. I mean, look, I'm sure that there are some people who'd never heard of P.T. Barnum in their lives, and they're like, oh, okay, is this what this guy was about? That's a vibe. Like, sure.
Not all white people were awful in the 1800s, I guess.
I would very much encourage anyone who doesn't know very much about P.T. Barnum. The Dollop does a great episode on him.
Oh, cool.
Be prepared to hate him.
Oh, everyone is awful. Let's just put it that way. Well, thank you, Simone. This has been a really fun week. I'm so glad when we get to do musical weeks. Yeah. It's just the best.
It's a joy.
It is always so much fun.
Yeah, I love musicals. We're big musical so much. People. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really fun. That will be our side project. On like maybe that's what the trilogy year is about. Just musicals. Fuck it. Like
in 2021, we're watching all the musicals.
We'll call it March Musicals instead of March Madness, and it will just be musicals for the whole of March. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen this year? Yeah.
Honestly, based on the first week of 2021, by March we might need to have a musical month.
That would be great. And then in that month we will get Simone to sing. That is something I will promise my listeners.
I'm not like the worst singer. I'm just not great.
Gonna do it.
I just don't think it's not remarkable either way. Like, it's not like, you know, an Idol's audition bad. It's just not very good either. It's
not a thing.
Perfectly fine.
And that's, who knows? You see, what I'm trying to do here is like, what happens if you just sing once and it's beautiful, you know, and someone listens to our podcast and they're like, shit, Simone's amazing. And then deal. There you go, straight to the big time. That's what I'm hoping for.
How mad would people be?
Your acceptance speech at the Emmys would just be fire. It would be perfect. I was just on my podcast one day. My co-host
Hummed a couple
forced me to
bars.
sing, and then that was it for me.
Anyway, y'all can die mad about it. Bye.
Well, Simone, next week is a very special one, talking about y'all's gonna die mad about it. So next week, the theme is, it was suggested to us by one of our very, very fantastic listeners, Dana Brown, who suggested we do movies that our significant others make us watch that are actually bad and that we hate. Now, as you may or may not be aware, because I talk about it pretty much all the time, I don't have a significant other. So we invited Dana Brown to be on the podcast with us next week. And you guys will include links down below in the show notes to this one so you can find out who Dana Brown is. Dana Brown is very, very cool. Author of 2 books. She's been on Channel 4. She's been on the Today Show. She's done so much stuff. She's incredible, incredible, incredible. And for some reason, she likes us, which crazy, insane.
What the fuck?
So yes, we will be her movie. Dana's movie is going to be Roadhouse, the Patrick Swayze phenomenal film. And Simone, what is going to be your movie? What does Rudy make you watch that you hate?
So I made the mistake of asking Rudy this because actually I tend to like a lot of the same Rudies. I like a lot of the same Rudies, but I like a lot of the same movies that Rudy likes. I like, yeah, and he's also got very good taste in movies. I think honestly better than me.
Oh wow!
If anything, I force him to watch bad movies very often because of this podcast. So I was like, okay, Rudy, well, why don't you pick a movie that you like that you know I won't like? That seems easier. So he picked Grandma's Boy.
Oh, that son of a bitch. I hate him.
I've never watched it before. He said he will watch it with me. He'll watch me watch it.
Of course he will. Why are you surprised by that?
So that's what we're going to do, guys.
Cool. Roadhouse, Grandma's Boy.
Yes.
What a weird week, but that's very exciting.
Week. Yes.
What a I made a mistake. It's not Dana Brown, it's Dana Bowman. For those of you who are paying more attention and because I'm a terrible
Dana, we're such assholes. We're so sorry.
Yeah. I will get that right by next week, I promise. So yes, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Before we go, what is your gratitude of the week?
My gratitude of the week. I'm gonna go with baked goods on this one, Chad.
Oh snap!
I've been baking a lot because I'm bored, and we're in lockdown again. So what else do you do? Rudy requested that I make some crunchies, which are apparently not a big thing out of South Africa. Like every recipe I looked at was like South African oat crunchies. So for the sadly, tragically uninitiated, crunchies are like oat. They're like kind of like granola bars, but softer. It's like a mix between like a Blondie and a granola bar, and it's got oats and desiccated coconut in, and it's crispy on the outside and nice and like soft and chewy on the inside. And I put chocolate on, but not everybody does. Some people just eat them like as is, and they're delicious. And even though they're full of oats and coconut, they are not good for you. There's so much sugar and butter.
All the sugar.
So I made those, and my God, I can't stop putting them in my face. It's a real problem. But it makes me so happy. It's so nice to have like little baked chocolate treats in the house.
It's so wonderful that like when you're in lockdown, you need to find any sort of semblance of happiness. If that is that dopamine hit from a sugary snack, you gotta do it. And you are an incredible bakist, so you know you got to do these things. Like guys, I really do feel sorry for the 7 billion people out there who will never taste Simone's baked goods.
Just follow recipes.
You're gonna die. But it's the love that you pour into it and the joy, and you're never going to experience that, so you're going to die unsatisfied. I'm sorry.
Rudy did have a very serious talk with me that he's sick of me sharing the stuff I bake with our friends. He's like, I would really just prefer you keep it between us, actually.
Fair enough. I understand where he's coming from.
I mean,
you know, he's hit a gold mine here. Why would you give that up free? Yeah.
And what is your gratitude?
Silly. It's been a really weird one this week, Simone, because as I told you before the podcast started, my university fucked us hard.
Yeah.
And so it's been very hard to find the gratitude in this week. I've had to look under a lot of rocks in a lot of shallow pools,
Yeah.
a lot of swamps to find it. But I'm gonna say that my gratitude this week is the friends and family that I have amassed. Like
Oh.
the fact that, you know, there are so many people who are rooting for me and who have my back on any situation. You know, every now and again they'll message me out of the blue and just be like, hey, how you doing? My family's always there for me. It's just nice to know, especially when you are in a lockdown and you are predominantly alone. It is nice to know that you have people who have your back. And
Definitely.
yeah, that's just really lovely. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I appreciate those people. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And please tell us all about your gratitudes of the week, of the month, of the year so far, 2 weeks in basically, and tell us what movies your significant others make you watch, or movies that you make your significant others watch that they hate. I know for me, when I do find a girlfriend or boyfriend one day, it will be the Descendants trilogy. They will fucking have to watch it. And if they hate it, I don't give a shit.
No.
I do not give a shit.
No. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And where can they tell us all of these things, Simone?
They can tell us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com. Guys, I got Twitter now. I'm on Twitter. You can see my own thoughts from my head and not just listen to them in the podcast. I'm at Simone Lives, and you can also still follow Chad on Twitter and see his very own thoughts at Chadsby1993.
1993. Every I'll put a tweet out every year or so. So, you know, don't hold your breath, that's for sure. I gotta tell the people about the weird message that I got from you when you got on Twitter.
Oh, right.
Like that kind of took me, like, came out of nowhere. You were just like, hey, I have Twitter now, and then sent me the link, and I was
Did you think
like,
it was a bot?
That's a very weird message. I did think it was a bot. I 100%
don't know.
thought it was a bot.
You know, because we all got social media like so long ago, and I'm so late to Twitter, so I don't know like how to be that person. Like, I think I got my Facebook account when I was like 13, and then you just add people. But like, I was so
Twitter,
I didn't know how to address it, so I just sounded like a bot.
It was great. I got the message. I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow you, but I'm a bit suspect about it now. But
Okay, clone Simone.
wouldn't it be Cyclone?
Ah.
Well, and on that incredibly lame joke, thank you so much. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.